How to Make a Six-Figure Income Working Part-Time is where I teach the 7 pillars of abundance: spirituality, fitness, emotions, romance, mindset, social, and financial. And when you have all 7 pillars of life in alignment, then you have a way to get whatever you want.
You're listening to the Woman of Value podcast. You are about to hear the story of a woman who is following her dreams and passions and creating positive change in the world. My guest today is Rebecca Whitman. She is a success mentor and author of the international best-selling books, Phenomenal Feminine Entrepreneurs, Business, Life, Universe, and How to Make a Six-Figure Income Working Part-Time. She believes that life can be divided into 7 pillars of abundance, and they include your spiritual, physical, emotional, romantic, mental, social, and financial. She was selected as Life Coach of the Year by the International Association of Top Professionals, and she hosts one of the top globally ranked podcasts, Balance, Beautiful, Abundant. Welcome to the show, Rebecca.
Thank you, Sandy. It's great to be here.
We always start with, what does woman of value mean to you?
A woman of value means to me someone who values herself and how she feels above being a people pleaser and approval seeker of others. Because if a woman values herself first, then other people really don't matter how they treat her. And also, you teach people how to treat you, as Eleanor Roosevelt said, by how you treat by your own self-dignity and respect. So I like that question, because really the only real relationship we have is ourselves and God. So if we are connected to our spirituality, whatever that is for you, God, Jesus, universe, Buddha, Allah, and then we only care about what we think about us and what God thinks about us, that's really what a woman of value is for me.
I love that. I love that you brought up people pleaser right away, because oh my God, is such an important thing to really just stop losing parts of yourself in order to please other people. And we have to have that self-respect, and we're not taught that. We're taught we should please others at any cost, and there's a huge cost. We talk here about that pivotal moment when you started to discover your own values. So can you share, and usually it's not just one moment, but can you share sort of that beginning pivotal time when you went like, oh my God, I'm discovering who I am?
Yes, I had done a lot of work on myself. I had studied with some of the greatest spiritual teachers like Wayne Dyer, Abraham Hicks, Marianne Williamson, Michael Beckwith. And I had really evolved somewhat from where I had started in this process, but my spiritual life did not spill into my romantic life. And I had become very toxic in a marriage where we were fighting all the time. And we were in our couples counseling session, just bickering and fighting right in front of her. We couldn't even stop. And she point blank stopped in the middle of our bickering. And she said, Rebecca, what do you want? Do you want to be married to this man? And a voice that was not mine, because I was like in the throes of this fight, I said, I want a life of ease, grace, and spiritual dignity. And whatever that looks like, I'm willing to do. And that's when the marriage started to unravel. My whole life changed because I really surrendered to that vision of whatever a life of ease, grace, and spiritual dignity looks like. That's the path I'm going to take. So that was a huge turning point for me.
Wow. So can you share a little bit about what that path looked like?
Yeah, so it was a really challenging time, because after that couples therapy session, my marriage started to unravel as my dad was dying in a nursing home. I live in LA. He was back in Cincinnati. So I was flying back and forth all the time. And in one of my last conversations with my dad, he said, Rebecca, I want you to write something. I don't care if it's a book, a magazine article, or an essay. You have a really unique worldview. And I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to write about. I had never really planned to write a book, but I just wanted to honor his dying wishes. So a few weeks later, my dad's funeral was on a Wednesday, and my marriage divorce was finalized on a Friday. So within 72 hours, the marriage ended, and the marriage ended, and my dad made his transition to the other side of the veil. And, it was a hard time, but I didn't fall apart. I was really resilient. And I ended up in my financial planner's office in workout clothes. And he's looking at my financial portfolio and he's like, "You're doing really well. Yet I know you've had a tough time lately with your dad and your divorce. So what are you doing? I think you should write a book and teach other women what you're doing." So I was like, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I wrote a book. It's called How to Make a Six-Figure Income Working Part-Time. It's not a business plan. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's really how I live life in a holistic way where I have work-life balance and I can make six figures working part-time, but you can apply it to manifesting anything you want. I actually use these principles to find my soulmate. I recently got married 10 months ago. Now I'm happily married, and it's a whole different style of relationship where we're actually in harmony and even bliss, I would say. So how to make a six-figure income working part-time is where I teach the 7 pillars of abundance: spirituality, fitness, emotions, romance, mindset, social, and financial. And when you have all 7 pillars of life in alignment, then you have a way to get whatever you want. And so, yeah, that a lot changed since I had that epiphany in that therapist's office.
Quite a lot. That's an understatement. And congratulations on your wedding to
Thank
this
you.
amazing person.
He is amazing. We got married on 12/21/21 at 12:21 p.m. because I'm really big on alignment, and it was just a dream wedding in Malibu, and we're so happy.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I'm sure a lot of people hearing this will get hopeful that this could happen to them too. And it's not just a matter of sitting around waiting for it. You obviously manifested this, you work hard at your own spiritual life and have these 7 pillars of abundance. So if you can give us a little more information on each of the pillars, that would be great.
Sure. So they're in order of importance. So spirituality is the most important thing because life has its ups and downs. And if you are connected to a power greater than yourself, then you have something to lean into, to trust, to have faith is taking care of you and loving you even more than your own mother. So it is a wonderful way of life when you're in the flow of life. I feel like you're either in the flow or out of the flow. If you're in flow, things are just working out together for your highest good. And when you're out of flow, everything is just hard and everything is a struggle. So I teach my clients to start their day with a morning practice. And having this morning practice is so important to get tapped into your spirituality. I have been writing this journal format for almost 30 years, and I'm going to give that as a gift to your listeners because this journal format really helps me set the tone for the day and see the day and even my life in a positive light. So that's the first pillar. The second pillar is fitness. I believe body before business. I do my workout in the morning. It sets the tone for the day. And I've never regretted a workout. It just helps you, again, keep your vibration high. And it's all about self-care first. Self-care isn't selfish. Especially as women, we fill our own cup up first and we've done our morning practice and we've worked out, we can face our day with a lot more ease, grace, and spiritual dignity. So the third step after fitness is emotions. So all emotions come from either fear or love. And this is the Course in Miracles. Bitterness, jealousy, resentment, anger, all is based on the main root emotion of fear. Happiness, contentment, bliss, satisfaction, appreciation, gratitude is all based on love. So the fastest way to go from the fear channel to the love channel is through gratitude. Gratitude is so important. And I really believe in gratitude as a spiritual practice. The next pillar after emotions is romance. So if you don't get your emotions right, which I didn't up until this new relationship that I'm in, you attract who you are, not who you want. So if I was, bitter, cynical, jaded, and resentful at men, guess what? I attract men who were jaded, cynical, bitter, and resentful toward women or me. So that is why emotion is ahead of romance. You want to have a relationship that has some kind of flow and ease to it. And I'm a huge teacher of masculine and feminine energy. Decide which one you want to be. It doesn't matter to me, but then you can actually have some passion and some just excitement in your relationship because if you're in your masculine or your feminine. The next pillar after romance is mindset. And I applaud and acknowledge all the people listening to your wonderful podcast, Sandy. I know you've been a podcaster for over 10 years. You were way before it was trendy. So you're a pioneer. So your listeners and all the other people listening to this podcast, you are doing mindset work. There's so much mindset work out there right now between Audible and YouTube and podcasts. I mean, we can be listening to things that improve our life every single day. The next pillar is social. Your vibe attracts your tribe. So if you want to up-level your life, up-level your social circle. They say our income is the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. So if you're not getting the results you want, find a Facebook group, find a coach, find a seminar, some way, a class to up-level the people you're hanging around and find someone who has what you want, because if you do what they did, you can get what they got. And finally, financial is the last piece of the puzzle. Everybody thinks it's first. Everyone says, work, 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 work. I'll make a lot of money. I'll hire a personal trainer. I'll get in great shape. I'll attract the love of my life. We'll go on spiritual retreats together. We're going to socialize with other couples there. But finances are the last piece of the puzzle, because when you're healthy, when you're happy, when you have high vibe friends around you cheering you on, when you have a spiritual practice, then the money and the opportunities just flow to you and you actually attract abundance. So there it is. That is my explanation of the 7 pillars of abundance.
If you have ever played small to make other people feel comfortable, or maybe stayed in a bad relationship or job too long because you didn't think you could do any better, I wrote a book for you. It's called Becoming a Woman of Value: How to Thrive in Life and Love. Each of the 30 chapters contains a life lesson, a story, and an exercise to bring you closer to reaching your full potential. Becoming a Woman of Value is available on Amazon in paperback and Kindle. I have to agree, as somebody who's been in business for myself really most of my life, but successfully in the last 15 years, that the more I aligned with my truth, my authenticity, my spiritual practice that was very different from the one I grew up with. I also have a fitness practice every single day. Before I do anything, I'm out walking and getting fit. And the emotional piece is so crucial. I mean, I teach boundaries and communication skills because so many of us bottle up emotions. We are really just not being truthful with our feelings, with our needs, and we end up in false relationships. And then the romance piece comes because you know who you are, you know what you know what's important to you, and the mindset is everything. I think that so many people just have a terrible mindset about so many things, and they don't realize why things aren't working out for them. And then the social piece, your vibe attracts your tribe. That is so true. And we really don't realize that we're hanging around with people who really don't align. I mean, I have probably changed my friend group so many times in my life. And I would say, I think they say like every 7 years, you shed your skin, you shed your friends, you have different, as if you're evolving, you're going to definitely have a different social group that aligns with who you become. And then the financial piece comes because you are living your truth, you're living your values, and all the good stuff happens. So I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, every 7 years on a cellular level, all of our cells turn over. So literally on a biological level, every 7 years, we're like a different person. If we, and especially, well, we're the same person if we do the same thing, right? If you do the same thing you've always done, you'll get what you always got. But if you're doing the work, if you're constantly up leveling your nutrition, your water, your supplements, your exercise, and your mindset, spirituality, you become really a totally different person down to your cells every 7 years, which is so encouraging because we can always reinvent ourselves.
Yeah, definitely. So, talk to us about the present. What is happening in your business? We know that you recently got married and your romance is doing really well. What's your daily business life look like?
Yeah, I'm a huge believer of multiple income streams. So I juggle 4 income streams right now. And one of them is the same thing I've been doing for almost 20 years. I work part time, and that was the theme of the book, Making Six Figures at a Children's Acting School. And I love it because I don't have kids of my own. So I get to work around kids. And I teach my clients, don't quit your job, invest every money and max out your credit cards to start your own business, because then you're going to be totally stressed out. Do it as a side hustle. So I have, my main thing is the kids acting school. I also own several real estate properties in LA, which are rental properties. That's my second income stream. My third one is my coaching business, which is so much fun. I coach women in group settings, one-on-one, and I've also led my first international retreat last year in Medellin, Colombia. I'm looking forward to leading more international retreats. And then I also own a health and wellness business where we focus on collagen, liquid collagen for anti-aging and fat loss. So those are all the different things. I'm super busy, but everything feels so aligned and it makes me so happy.
Mm, I thought I did a lot. I'm exhausted hearing all the things you have. No, and I totally agree with you. I think that having multiple streams of income is so important, and people do often quit their job, their day job, and then they are completely in debt, and then they freak out and they're living in fear.
Yeah.
So I think that's wise advice. I'm just about ready to publish my second book.
Oh,
So I was putting
congratulations.
finishing touches on that. Thank you. I just applied to speak at my second TEDx conference, and I'm just finishing the application process on that. I'm working on my group coaching topic that I'm speaking about tonight in my group coaching. I have my regular one-on-one coaching. I have 2 podcasts. Yeah, it's there's something about the level of creativity and fun that comes with having hands in a lot of places. And
Yes.
I think it's just it fills you with abundance. That's the word that comes up for me.
Yes, it's so great about the TED Talks. I did a version of TED Talks. It's called Blue Talks. It stands for Business Life Universe. It's kind of like TED Talks meets Chicken Soup for the Soul. And I did my first one at Columbia University, and I have another one coming up in a few months at UCLA. And
Ooh.
it's just, yeah, I want to get more into speaking and keynoting and all the stuff. So you and I are very similar in our interests.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I never heard of Blue Talks. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's retreats, all of it is just you never know who needs to hear you in what format. I think that's the way I think of it.
Yes. And when
So,
the student's ready, the teacher appears. So the person who needs to hear you is going to find you right when they need to hear you. And then you could say one thing that changes their life. I know I've heard things, just snippets of things here and there that have changed my life.
yeah, for sure. Well, let's talk about the future, Rebecca. The future for Rebecca Whitman. What's on tap?
Sure. So, as I mentioned, I'm going to be speaking at UCLA, but the bigger vision is I really want to create a movement of women who are valuing their femininity, that are not working themselves to exhaustion and burnout, that are creating massive abundance in all areas of life and doing it in a way that has ease and flow, And I don't think women do well in the masculine paradigm of hustle and grind, push yourself to exhaustion. And women are actually like getting sick. They're getting dis-ease. They're physically burning out. So I want to create a way that women are empowered to achieve beautiful things in the world and retain their glow. And that's why my podcast is the same as my mission. I'm taking women from burned out and overwhelmed to balanced, beautiful, and abundant. And I'm so excited for this mission and this movement, and just teaching women that they don't have to push themselves so hard, that they can get just as much results, if not more results, by doing it in a way where they are aligned and they're calm and they're just patient and compassionate with themselves.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I've seen too many women totally burn out and grew up with that model myself, and just constant stress, constant exhaustion, constant resentment. Yeah,
Yes.
it's not fun to be around those people. I had a woman who hired me last year who was working in a very high-powered job. Her husband was also in a very high-powered position, and they barely spent time together. They had 3 kids. She was doing most of the housework and the kid stuff and didn't have time for friends. Her health was totally at risk. I mean, it was just to the point where she said if she hadn't hired me, she doesn't know if she'd still be alive. And it's unbelievable. I mean, just the self-care piece, the just take care of yourself first is such a foreign concept for so many women. And it's considered selfish. Like you said, it is not selfish. So I think this is such an important movement. And I wish you lots of luck continuing on this journey, because I know you're already on your way and you're doing the work, and it's just going to grow.
Thank you.
Yeah, so let's go to the lightning round. So, first question is fill in the blank. I used to think I wasn't blank enough.
I would say good enough.
You and everybody else,
Yeah,
right?
that was like a big wound that I work on every day. And I'm a huge believer in affirmations. In my book, How to Make a Six-Figure Income Working Part-Time, there's 21 affirmations. But one that I really have to say to myself every day is I am enough, I have enough, I am willing to set myself free.
I like that one. What was the number one thing holding you back from becoming a woman of value?
Caring too much about what other people thought of me. I placed value on what they thought of me over what I thought of me.
Such an important shift.
Mhm.
What is the best advice you could give to a woman who wants to become more empowered?
To practice self-love through having a morning practice. Get some kind of a morning practice where you're meditating, praying, journaling, even if it's just 5 minutes listening to a guided meditation, get a morning practice.
What advice would you give to your younger self?
My younger self, I would say don't take it so seriously. Just have more fun and enjoy the journey.
You were a serious kid.
I was, yeah.
Fun is like the bottom of most people's list. And it's like,
I
I, it's
know.
amazing, right? We used to do the wheel of life. And I actually do this now with every client before we start working together, just to see where they are in eight sections of life. And fun and recreation is one of the 8 pieces. And so many women have like a 0 or a 2 out of 10 on fun. And you can have fun every day. You don't have to like make it a big thing.
I had a very structured childhood. By the time I was 8, I was playing national tennis tournaments. I got into an Ivy League school. And I feel like after I graduated from Princeton, the older I get, the more fun I have. So
Hmm.
great.
I love that. All right, Rebecca, what is something that people often get wrong about you?
They think I am very serious, when deep down I do have a very funny, playful side. I come off as, you know, very linear, straight, even analytical. Some people think I'm analytical, but I am not at all. I am like a total goofball.
I think you're my clone, Rebecca.
I know, right? Am I your spirit animal?
I think so. And finally, Rebecca, this is the big question. How would you like to be remembered?
It's funny. When I was younger, I used to say I wanted to say on my epitaph, she avoided boredom at all costs. I have paid those costs and I was like a drama addict. So I'm no longer willing to avoid boredom at all costs. So what I would say now is love more. I would like to be known for someone who just help people love more, each other and themselves. I feel like whatever the question is, love is the answer. And I like when I'm in an indecision and I can't figure out what to do or what to say, I just ask myself, what would love do? What would love say? How would love see this person?
Yes, that is a wonderful question. Well, thank you so much for this fabulous conversation, Rebecca. And if you can let us know one link that people can find you at, and then we'll post the others in the show notes.
Sure. The best way to find me is my website, RebeccaElizabethWhitman.com. It'll be in the show notes, the spelling, and then all my offerings. I have some really fun stuff. The 777 challenge, 7 pillars of abundance in 7 days for $7. You are going to get breakthroughs, epiphanies, and aha moments and realign all 7 areas of your life for just $7. So Sandy's going to have my link tree, and my link tree is going to be the 777 challenge. $7. Come on, that's like a fancy coffee drink in LA. And we can all afford $7 to change our life. So I would definitely jump on the 777 challenge. And there's lots of other cool things on my link tree, my YouTube and my podcast and all kinds of other cool things. But definitely jump on that 777 challenge because I think you're going to have your next breakthrough and it's $7. So why not?
What can you lose? $7 to have a breakthrough? Come on.
That's really, I mean, you're worth $7. So do
That's
it.
right.
Everybody do the 777 challenge and get it in the link tree.
Well, we will have all of that posted. And thank you so much again, Rebecca, for being on the show and being a great example of a true woman of value.
Thank you so much, Sandy, for hosting me. And I really enjoyed our conversation so much that I'm going to invite you to be on the Balanced, Beautiful, and Abundant show.
Woohoo! Can't wait.
All
Well,
right.
thanks everybody for listening. If you love our show, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. It's always helpful to spread the word even further, let more people know about the podcast, and be a woman of value. If you would like to step more fully into your value, grab a free copy of The Ultimate Guide to Becoming a Woman of Value on my website, thewomanofvalue.com. Just click the link at the top of the homepage. And if you haven't already done so, be sure to click the subscribe button in your listening app. And if there's something in this episode that inspired you, please share it with others, because the more we share these inspirational stories, the more women of value we will have in this world. I'll see you next time.